Good morning. So, stayed in the shelter last night because when I arrived over there, all the tent spots were taken by like a group of Boy Scouts, which was fine because I wanted to be in the shelter because of the rain, and there weren't too many people when I got there, so I set up on like the top level, and it was pretty empty. And then like right before dark, like 4 people showed up and all went in the shelter, but it was fine. Like I was kind of on this like part where no one else could sit up next to me because it was like pretty narrow on like the top level. So it was good. But today I'm trying to make it to the David Lester Memorial Shelter, but standing in between me and that is 21 miles of hiking in the rain, and 13 of those are like on the roller coaster, which is just this like hilly section of the AT. It's like up and down rocky, so we'll see how that goes. I'm about to enter the roller coaster, but it'll be good. Yeah. So far the roller coaster has been okay, but I'm not a huge fan. I had to take my rain jacket off because it's way too hot for this. But there's so many nice campsites up here, and it really barely rained last night. I kind of wish I just hiked up an extra like mile and had a nice quiet campsite where I could actually get some sleep. Last night was crazy. I mean, it was fun at first. Once I was trying to sleep though, I was like, oh, heck no, I need to like get away. But I really couldn't. Also, I'm like half convinced that there was a mouse in my sleeping bag last night. I woke up and it was like 1 a.m. and like I didn't have my sleeping bag, it was just my quilt. And so there's like kind of a crack on the side where they can get in. And I swear I still felt something run up my leg and go down to the foot box in my sleeping bag. So I like got in my headlight and was looking around, and they're trying not to like wake anyone up. But I just had the red setting. And it's really hard to see with all my sleeping bag crinkled up. But I could like feel something down in there. So I kind of like took my sleeping bag off and like shook it for a bit. And I put it back on, and I didn't feel anything the rest of the night. So I don't really know what that was. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of shelters. And after last night's experience, I don't know how many more shelters I'm going to be staying in. I hadn't stayed in one before last night. I hadn't stayed in one since Damascus, like right outside Damascus. So it's been like 400 miles since I stayed in the shelter. And I don't really know that I want to stay in them anymore, but I probably will end up in them in bad weather again.
Of course, I think, turning back around.
Yay!
Say hello.
Hello, I'm here with Stinger.
Wow.
We made it 1,000 miles. 1,000 miles. Alright, so I stopped at the Sam Moore shelter after only hiking like 7 miles. I'm like halfway through the roller coaster, but it was more of like a water slide because it was raining so hard and everything was just soaked. And I slipped and fell, and it was just no fun. So I stopped to take a break in the shelter, and I ended up just stopping here. And I'm all set up with my sleeping bag and dry clothes. I stopped, it wasn't even noon yet, and now I'm just sitting here watching a movie, editing video, and I think I'm just gonna go to bed early and then hike out really early tomorrow morning and hopefully still make it to Harper's Ferry, but it'll be like tomorrow evening or afternoon and not now. Alright, good morning. Today is what I think is day 72. I'm hiking on a camp this morning. I left at like a little before 6, but I stopped, took a little delayering break. So I was not hiking this morning, but the sun's out now a bit. And plan today is to get to Harper's Ferry, which would make it about a 23-mile day. The problem is, once you get to Harper's Ferry, then you have to either hike way out of town, which would make it almost a 30-mile day to really get in a zone where you can camp, or shuttle somewhere, or stay in the town of Harper's Ferry. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. It's all going to depend on how I feel and what time it is when I get there. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing the 30-mile day. So I will probably end up staying somewhere. Anyway, I crossed the 1,000-mile marker yesterday, and then shortly after stopped at a shelter for lunch and ended up just deciding to stay because I was having some shin pain, kind of like I was having that one day in the Shenandoahs, and I thought it was gone, but then it started hurting yesterday. So I just did a short 7-mile day through the pouring rain in the first half of the roller coaster, which was more of a water slide. So today I'm finishing up the second half of the roller coaster, and then cruising down into town. Alright, today is May 1st, and this is my last day in Virginia. I'll be entering West Virginia later today. So, I don't know, but Virginia is my favorite state so far, I think. I've had a lot of fun in Virginia. I remember entering Damascus and crossing the state line, being so excited that I finally made it to Damascus. So proud of myself. I walked in there with Hod. Then I left that group, hiked with Ellie, pretty much from Damascus to Daleville, which was super fun. And at that time I also hiked with Sketchy Tuna and Big T and some other people. A lot of fun. Learned that I could hike a lot farther in bigger days than I thought I could. And then kind of moved on from that. Found a new group I hiked kind of near the Blue Ridge Parkway with. Sort of fell off that group, met Bad and them. Super fun to hike with. Had a reunion with Niall, hiked with goats, met the ponies, stayed at the alpaca farm. Then I came to the Shenandoahs, kind of met a new group, enjoyed the waysides and the easier terrain. And then now today I am leaving Virginia and entering Harper's Ferry in West Virginia. And it's crazy. I'm very excited to enter a new state. Yeah, it's gonna be good. So cool, it's like the first view we've had in days. It's pretty cool. It looks so flat in Virginia. The part I'm on, not flat. But look out there, it looks so flat. The house is cool. I wanna be in there. Survived the roller coaster, and now I'm gonna stop and take a break because I'm really tired. And then I'm gonna go into Harper's Ferry, but I don't think the roller coaster, I think it's hyped up too much. I don't think it's as intense as it really sounds, but
it's too much hype.
It got in my head, so I thought it was hard because they said it was hard. I ended up stopping and having lunch like shortly after the roller coaster just because I need to sit down for a second and like take a break. And it's supposed to start raining, so I was like, I'll just take my lunch break before it starts raining. And I've been hiking for maybe an hour since then now. And it is raining, but not super hard. So that is good. Nothing like it was yesterday. Hopefully it doesn't pick up, because I don't really want to be soaked again. My clothes finally dried out when I put them on this morning. But trying to put on like sopping wet clothes, because they just like didn't dry last night. Because it was just so humid and it was basically pouring all day and half of the night. So nothing really dried, but it's okay. I might be staying in Harper's Ferry tonight, or maybe trying to hike out and camp somewhere, but it just feels like it's gonna be kind of late by the time I get there. And it's like, leaving Harper's Ferry is kind of weird because there's like, I don't really think there's any camping in the area because it's like by the road. I don't really know, but there's a hostel right outside of town I could possibly tent at if I want to do that. So I may be doing that. If it's raining, I could also just go to the hostel. But, yes. It's been a good day. I'm just like tired. Even though I like laid around all day yesterday, well, most of the day, I think it's just like rocky. And like I just kind of want to get to town. And like, why is it taking so long? I mean, maybe it's taking so long because town was literally 23 miles from this morning. I don't know. Slippery little boards in the rain.
And we said, hey, you know, for the
Sat back there and took a short little break at the shelter that I was going to go to tonight, like last night, but I never made it there. So it was like 14 miles into the day today, 14 or 15 I think. And there's a porch swing, so that's really why I went. Took a short break in the porch swing. And now I'm back hiking again. It's kind of been raining on and off, but the terrain's been a bit better. It's just kind of rocky, but pretty flat-ish. And I'm just trying to cruise down into Harper's Ferry and get there before the HEC closes so I can get my picture and stuff in their little book on the front porch. Yeah. Actually, there's been all these terrifying road crossings, and I know I'm about to cross another one here in a second. And it's like literally crossing like they're not interstates, but like it'll look like the interstate. And like the car's going like 60 miles an hour, and you just have to like walk across it, and there's like barely a little spot in the middle to like stand in between. I don't know, it's so scary. And I fell on the road the other day in the rain and almost got hit by, well, I wasn't even that close, but I pretended it was because I was really scared. But yeah, the speed limit sign, I can see it up here. It's like 50 miles an hour. It's terrifying. It's just looking on far out, and I think the West Virginia border is like 0.6 miles from here. So my last 0.6 of Virginia, which is a very exciting day. Get to West Virginia. It's been like over 500 miles, Virginia, and I'm tired of it, so it's exciting to get here. It's good. Less than a mile out from Harper's Ferry. I'm crossing the Shenandoah River on this big bridge here. At least they didn't make us cross the road. They sent us underneath it and around, which is so much nicer than crossing the sketchy roads like we've been doing for days. I made it. I did it. Being the Appalachian Trail Conservancy after filling all my stuff out. And I'm gonna head to a hotel, I think, instead of hiking on, because there's not really campsites nearby, and I just need to lay down and take a short day tomorrow.